Welcome to the Amazing Authorities Podcast, where game changers, visionaries, and category leaders share how they built their brands, platforms, and global influence. Your host is Mitch Carson, international speaker, media strategist, and creator of the Instant Authority System. If you're ready to learn from those who've done it and want to become the go-to expert in your space, you're in the right place.
Today's guest, Jim Marshall, is in Arizona. I am in Jomtien Beach, Bangkok. This is the beauty of interviewing experts from around the world. Today's guest, Jim Marshall, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Mitch. Glad to be here.
Yeah, you're an amazing authority. And give us so I don't take anything away from you, give us a little bit of background on who you are, and then we're going to jump into your area of expertise.
Okay. Well, the first sentence I should say, just to give context to everybody, is that I am the discoverer of hitherto unknown natural phenomena, which greatly aid in the understanding of people.
Oh,
From which I developed a revolutionary practical philosophic system called Septemics and published it in the book, Septemics, Hierarchies of Human Phenomena.
well, that's a lot. So let's dig into Septemics. I mean, you've caught my attention, and I'm sure the listeners and viewers are now going to be intrigued, but what inspired you to get into Septemics or create this revolutionary system?
Actually, inspiration had absolutely nothing to do with this. This was done scientifically over a long period of time. So let me tell you how it came about, even though there's no inspiration involved in it. The story really begins when I was accepted into engineering school at the age of 16. Now, of course, at the time, I thought I was going to be engineering physical things, such as airfoils and electrons and motors and things. But by the time I had my bachelor's degree, it was clear to me I wanted to engineer the human psyche, because it is the area of greatest unknown and greatest mystery, and more importantly, it is the area in which we as a race are failing miserably. 95% of the problems in industrialized society are because people don't understand people, don't understand the wife, the son, the boss, the associate. This is a huge problem. And Septemics resolves that across 35 axes. But to finish the explanation, I had a long career as a human development engineer, working one-on-one with hundreds of clients of every description for cumulatively many thousands of hours, and bringing engineering principles, engineering devices, engineering techniques, engineering strategies to human development. All of my clients improved. But incidentally, I started to notice that I could predict the outcome of the session. I did not tell that to anyone, but I made notes. And as the decades rolled by, it became obvious to me that the client was at a specific level on a specific scale that I had previously observed and recorded. And as a result of our interaction, he would go up to the next level on that scale. Now that happened thousands and thousands of times. And every time it did, it verified my hypothesis, because the clients knew absolutely nothing about what I was thinking, what I was observing, what I was writing down, how I was doing what I was doing. All they knew is they came to me with a problem or an unwanted condition, and I helped them resolve it. So by about 1995, I had about 32 scales that I had simply observed and recorded. There is no theory of Septemics. This is all direct empirical observation.
Sure.
So around that time, I was pondering a difficult client. I had this 6-level scale that by then I absolutely knew was correct. But somehow I couldn't get this client to resolve within that scale. And I realized, this scale has a 7th level. And as soon as I saw what that level was, it was obvious to me where to insert it. That was not a question. And as soon as I inserted that level into that scale, now having 7 levels, manifested mathematically. And let me tell you what I mean by that.
Yeah, please do.
It went from being a line, which is what a scale is, to a plane, meaning a whole body of data, all of which was interlocking and intersecting mathematically. Now, having taken 26 semesters of math, I think in math. When it's there, I see it. I looked at this and I said, this is full of math. So whatever this it has to be natural law, because anything that has math embedded in it, like, for example, the Fibonacci sequence, is natural law. So then I thought, I wonder how many of these other scales that I have are actually 7-level scales that had not been developed all the way. Because you have to realize I wasn't developing anything. I was just helping my clients and making notes. So knowing what I was looking for, I then inspected all of these other scales. And in a short period of time, each of them developed into a 7-level scale and had mathematics embedded in it. So now I have 32 7-level scales, all of which had mathematics embedded in it that were about human phenomena. And I said, whoa, having gone to school for 28 years, I never saw anything like this. This looks like a new subject to me. Then I thought, I could go from helping people by the hundreds, which is what I had been doing as human development engineer, to helping them by the millions if I put this in a book and get it out so that people can have it. So I'm going to have to write a book. The first draft was finished in December of '95, and I immediately sent it to colleagues of mine, all of whom had graduate degrees in a variety of subjects. And they all responded very positively. They had differing responses, but distinctly positive responses. And that told me this is exactly what I think it is.
You're on the right track.
I knew this is a subject that people will get. Now, I have to tell you, since then, it's been 30 years, lots of people have read this, studied this, become septemicists and so forth. No one has ever said to me anything like, I don't get this. This doesn't make any sense or anything like that. What they usually say is, a guy will look at it at first blush, never saw it before, and say, oh, this makes sense, yeah. And then after they really get into it, what they say is, wow. So that's what I get from people, a lot of wow. So I then spent, starting in '95, I spent the next 25 years working on the book. Because first I had to discover the phenomena, and I pretty much already explained how that occurred. Although you have to realize that after I would see it in the session, I would go out into the real world and I would see exactly the same phenomena in people I don't even know, people I wasn't even talking to. Same exact phenomenon, which again verified it. So the next thing is I had to take this data and I had to use it to craft a workable philosophic system.
Okay.
As an engineer, like all engineers, I'm only interested in results and facts. To engineers, opinions and beliefs are utterly irrelevant. We don't use them. To a scientist, the final triumph is a theory, like the theory of relativity or the theory of evolution. But to an engineer, the triumph is a thing that works.
Sure. Jim, let me ask a couple questions. Let me so we can engage here. Tell me who has benefited from the Septemics. How do I refer to it? Concept, factual system, or how do you refer to Septemics?
Book, the book. Well, it's all in the book.
Okay.
Although you call it just benefited from Septemics, which is the way people generally explain
Well, let's
it.
talk about specific examples of people who've benefited. You can change their name to protect the innocent.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I spoke to a client recently.
Okay.
Who is actually living in another country, and just went on ad infinitum about how it changed her life. And she straightened out all the problems she had with her family. Apparently, she has a big problem in her family with her husband and the kids. And this just explained everything to her. And she's like a new person now. And I have to tell you, I met her before she read it. She's a different person now. She's enthusiastic. She's positive. That's what it does, because it explains the inexplicable, or what seemed to be inexplicable.
All right. Let's get a little more granular. What was the issue and what did she realize out of it?
Well, she had a lot of problems with her husband and her children,
Okay.
and the alcoholism in particular.
Okay, good.
And so basically, she is a educated person and kind of went along with that because that's what they were doing. But she came to realize this is a dead end. This is not good. It's not helping my children. She got out of drinking. And when she got a hold of Septemics, it totally explained all the things that she did not understand about her husband and her kids.
So it gave her an understanding of what was going on at a,
Right.
Okay, from a facts basis,
Yes.
not theory. Okay, here's what it, okay, interesting. Well, I'm eager to buy the book because you've piqued my curiosity for sure. Now, is this available on Amazon?
Yes.
Okay, so people can go and find it there. Okay.
Yeah.
And is there a follow-up system?
No, I think the book is the follow-up. I was very careful in writing this book to write it in such a way that would make sense to the average reader of English. And I know I succeeded at that because I've been watching people get this for 30 years. They get it. And let me tell you why they get it. It's
Sure.
natural law. Now, several people have said to me, what book is your book like? And I have to tell them in all candor, I don't think there's ever been a book like this before. But every one of these 35 septemic scales is expressed in what you could call a table or a spreadsheet.
Okay.
And every one of those tables is very similar to the periodic table of elements.
Oh,
Now,
all right.
if you can recall when you first saw it, right, you were maybe 12, 13, 14, right? You looked at it. Didn't take much time for it to make sense to you. Hydrogen is 1, helium is 2, lithium is 3, and it goes down horizontally or vertically, right? It works, which is why it is in use all over the world, in every science class, in every laboratory, in whatever language the people are speaking. Because
It was the early infographic.
right. That is what these 35 tables are like. When you look at it, you get it because it's natural law. There's nothing counterintuitive about this.
Okay, well, that's, now you've got my interest. Now, is there a workbook? Is there an application sense, or does it just all the light bulb go on? I'm trying to wrap my head around exactly what it is because I haven't read your book yet. So I certainly will after this interview.
Let me tell you what it is.
Sure.
Septemics is a philosophical science based on the fact that many phenomena related to humans occur in a sequence of 7 levels. Literally, the word septemics means of or pertaining to 7. Septemics comprises a collection of scales or sequences, each of which breaks down various human phenomena into 7 steps. So you may recall Sir Isaac Newton famously shined white light through a prism, and on the other side, he got a rainbow: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, right? That sequence is always the same.
Science.
You cannot get to yellow without going through orange if you're at red, which is exactly true at Septemics. If you're at level 4 and you want to get to level 2, you must go through level 3. There's no other possibility. That helps you because it tells you what's going on. But here's what you really have to get. Every time you correctly spot either yourself or another person on any scale, you have a realization. So let's say you look at the scale of basic purposes, right? There are only 7 basic purposes. So it's not a big menu from which to choose. You look at it, you know yourself, and you say, I see, that's my basic purpose. You'll have a big epiphany, and you'll understand hundreds or thousands of things that went on in your life, not just like that, because you know your basic purpose that you didn't know before. And you can do the same thing with your wife. You can find your wife's basic purpose, and then you'll understand her much better. But there's 35 scales. So there are 35 slices of this. Now, once you find the correct level for anyone, yourself or another, you can then improve that person by moving them up one level at a time. So if you're at level 4, you will be able to get to level 3. If you try to get to level 1 or 2, you will fail because it's too steep a gradient. It's not the next thing. The reason I know you can get from level 4 to level 3 is it's the next level.
Okay. Okay. It's the obvious next step.
Yes. I don't know how obvious it is unless you've studied it, but it is the next step.
Well,
And the fact
that's
that
what I meant is once you've read the material and then you conclude whatever it is related to level 3 to get to level 4, that's where you go next, I presume.
Yeah, it's 1 is the top and 7 is at the bottom.
Oh,
So if
okay. So it's inverted.
you want to
Okay.
go up to 3.
Oh, so you start at 7, you go up to 1.
Right, right.
So
And I have to tell you, every human being is at some level on every scale. It's like a blood pressure. You have a blood pressure. I don't know what it is, but I know you have it. So that's why when you go to the doctor, it doesn't matter if you have a runny nose, your ear hurts, you get a headache, your knee hurts. They always take a blood pressure. You know why? They know you have one and they don't know what it is.
So when you were working in, I guess it would be counseling, would you call yourself a therapist, counselor, or
No. Human development engineer.
human
It's
development
not-
engineer? So you don't
not
fall into the category of licensed, or LMFT, which is the
No.
marriage family counselors. I mean, how did you get started as a human engineer? That's a unique title
Well,
I've not heard
as I
before.
said, I went to engineering school.
Right.
I was very heavily trained in science, math, engineering, etc.
Sure.
But I was always a polymath. I was a born polymath. So like when I went to college, I took 18 credits, which was the maximum. And then evenings and weekends, I would study at other places. Or when I was in elementary school, I would go to the library, I would take out books, I would come home, I would do my homework, and then I would read the books from the library. So that is when other people were playing video games, watching TV, going to the movies, playing golf, I was studying and meditating. And that's where this all came from.
So you mentioned meditation. How does that integrate with your system?
It integrates perfectly. I have been pushing myself up these levels even before I knew they were levels. After the fact, I realized that's what I'm doing. I'm moving up these scales. And I would remember, yeah, I used to be at that level, but now I'm at this level. And it was from the meditation. So I've got over 40 years of daily meditation. And I just kept moving myself up, Now, after I knew what it was and wrote it, then it really sped up.
Well, that's interesting. Now, I meditate myself probably about a similar amount of time. I presume we're close in age. And I do about 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes at night. And it's a very simple meditation from a French philosopher named Emile Couillet. And I recite every day in every way I'm getting better, better, and better. And I say that until I fall asleep, or it's my reset button to start in the morning. And my belief is, and I'm curious to hear your perspective on this, meditation doesn't have to be complicated, and you don't need to go to India to sit in a lotus position to meditate, learn how to meditate. It's pretty simple. What are your thoughts on that?
I concur. But let me tell you this. I have done as many as 8 hours a day of meditation.
Okay.
When I meditate, it's generally on the order of magnitude of about an hour at a time.
Okay.
And that makes a difference because when you get into it, you get to a higher level. And then starting from that level, you can get to the next higher level. So there's a cumulative effect of doing it for a long period of time. In other words, doing 5 minutes a day for 8 days, that's 40 minutes. But doing 40 minutes all at once is more efficient.
Interesting. Yeah, my mind tends to wander, and it's a little bit difficult to get centered. But how does that blend with your system of Septemics?
Well, first of all, if I hadn't been meditating for 40 years, I never would have figured this out.
Okay.
Because I got myself to a higher level of consciousness, sequentially, higher and higher and higher.
In a meditative state.
In 35 different axes.
Okay.
You know? So the fact that I went to school for 28 years and was a scholarship and honor student was like the basis. And then when I got into the meditation, everything that I knew, I'm an expert in about 24 subjects, it just coalesced and coalesced and coalesced. So in my mind, all of the subjects of which I'm an expert is one big thing.
Got it. They're all married.
In my mind, there's no separation between history, mathematics, poetry, music, military science. It's all one big thing in my mind. And in a sense, that's sort of what Septemics is, because it spans the spectrum of human experience, by which I mean any problem, dilemma, situation, difficulty that anybody has related to people can successfully be analyzed by one or more of these scales, usually more than one.
Well, I'm going to ask you a wild card because we're both Americans, and I've left America just 3 months ago permanently, as I'm on a retirement visa here in Thailand. And how would Septemics help Donald Trump?
Septemics would help anyone who can read English,
Okay.
wants to improve himself or others. But it's very personal.
Okay.
There's no one size fits all. That is the power of this. Each one of these tables is like a lens that you can hold up to the mirror to see yourself more clearly, or hold up to another person to see them more clearly, which is why cumulatively my life has gotten very easy. I understand Donald Trump perfectly. Now realize I'm from New York, so
I know.
I've known about him for 50 years.
Sure.
So it's not like somebody who just came on the scene, like Obama. He had only been in the Senate for 2 years before he ran. What do I know about him, But Donald Trump, I know a lot about Donald Trump.
Sure.
So I understand him perfectly. Now, I want to emphasize, I tell everyone, never tell anyone the level on any scale of any living person. It's counterproductive and unethical. And I'll tell you why. Number one, every time you find your level or find another person's level, you have a realization. You say, oh, that's why my mother acts that way. Your relationship with her just got better. See? And your mind is a little clearer. Then the next thing is, most people do not like to be evaluated.
No.
The wife goes to the husband and says, what's wrong with you? You're an ambitious. You need to get a second job, make more money. That's not helping him. Give him the damn book and he'll read it and he'll figure it out for himself. It's not that hard to do. You know why it's not hard to do? It's natural law.
Well, Jim, I got to ask a question. Would you like a tip about how to sell more copies of your books? And it involves, I'm a publicist by background. Okay. Is you work off trending topics, like AI is a trending topic, has been for the last 2.5 years since ChatGPT hit. It's been around for a while, but it's really gone off meteorically because of ChatGPT. Once that was the most downloaded app. But if you were able to tie Septemics to either AI or Donald Trump, if Donald Trump had Septemics in his life, our country would be better. That would be great hook. That's what I was thinking. I'm always thinking PR in my brain. Everybody I interview, I'm thinking, how would the media grab this? What's your media hook so people want to interview you? And I would tie it to either AI in some way. That's a bigger discussion, but that's a trending topic. It's going to be around probably until you and I push up daisies. That's not a trend. It's a real thing. It's just like the computer came into existence and it never went away. AI is here, and I think George Orwell, if you remember his book, 1984, that's very real. Big Brother's here. And finally, but if you were to tie it to Donald Trump for a current, because he's going to change and he'll be out of office eventually. He has to, because he's only got another 3.5 years. But if you were to tie it to that, I think it would give your book another really big kickstart. And if you came out with another version, how AI integrates with Septemics. Just a thought, because this is my PR mind, and I wanted to share it with you. I don't always provide this for guests because sometimes their topics don't warrant it or they're already doing something. This might be a helpful boost. Add a little bit of jet fuel to the Toyota Corolla. And I don't know if you might be old enough to remember that car.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So that's great. So how can people get in touch with you, Jim?
Well, I would invite your viewers to my website, which is septemics.com, SEPTEMICS, where they can see what many readers have said about it, what many journalists have written about it. You can read sections of the book itself. You can read the reviews, and there's even a 15-minute recorded introduction to Septemics that you can listen to that will explain it to you in 15 minutes for a new person.
Well, that's great. Well, I look forward to doing that myself because you've got me intrigued. Jim, you've been a great guest today. Thank you for all the logic. And I will let you know when we are going to do this again, because I want to dig in deeper to Septemics down the road. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks, Mitch. It was a pleasure.
Thanks for tuning into the Amazing Authorities Podcast. If today's episode inspired you, take a moment to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It helps more experts like you rise to the top. For behind-the-scenes access and free resources to boost your authority, head to MitchCarson.com. Until next time, stay amazing.